welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Penny. I'm a master esthetician in Portland, Oregon, and I'm excited that you're here with me today because it is time for the Friday Q&A. This is the video that I do every single Friday. It comes up at 3 p.m. Pacific time, and I just go through your comments and try to answer as many of the commonly asked questions as I can, try to kind of connect with you guys, and basically the entire kind of intention of my channel is to empower you to not only understand your skin better, but also to, give you the tools that you might need to do some of the things that you would otherwise not be able to do, whether it's because of time or money or accessibility, those things that you can maybe do on your own at home. So these videos are really fun for me because I love sharing this stuff. So that said, let's get into the comments and questions. So I am going to start with Kathy McCarthy. And I just have to say hi, Kathy, because you comment on so many of my videos and I love seeing your face in the comments and I appreciate them. And so I'm excited to answer this question. Kathy says, I'm 49 and get Botox on my forehead and crow's feet, but I would love to know what treatments would help tighten skin on the chin. I had combination skin when I was younger and experienced occasional hormonal acne in that area, so I have texture from loss of firmness in the skin and lines at the side of my mouth that show up when I apply makeup. And she says, thanks. Okay, so Kathy, this is a great question, and I actually get a lot of questions about the chin, which is really interesting. I think that there's several things that you can do, but first of all, when you break down your question, first you mention texture. Typically, whenever I hear about texture, I immediately think of exfoliation. Now, I realize that you're saying in relation to laxity, but if you do some chemical exfoliation, you could get a chemical peel. It can make a huge difference in the texture of your skin, which can lead to kind of the appearance of more firmness. But if you want to actually, firm up that skin, there's several things that you can do. You could consider seeing someone and getting some RF treatments, which is radio frequency. Radio frequency applies a heat to the skin and it will cause collagen induction. You can definitely also consider microneedling. Microneedling is fantastic. Not only does it help to induce collagen, but it is also going to help to retexturize the skin, and it can definitely help with old acne scarring. The other thing that you might want to consider is there are things like PDO threads and Sculptra, which are injections and the threads are inserted into your skin that basically lay a fertilizer for new collagen and can help with laxity as well because it helps with collagen production. So there are so many things that you can do. I would say I would start at home probably with some alpha hydroxy acids, which I'm sure you probably already do this, and I'm sure that I know that you probably already do this. But if you want to talk about going in to seeing someone, definitely chemical peels, definitely microneedling, definitely consider radio frequency, and then look into Sculptra and threads. I think that those things could be really, really helpful for you. So I hope that that answers your question. Again, I really appreciate your comments. I always appreciate your comments. I love chatting with you in the comments. Okay, next question is going to be from Robbie Kerbo. And same for you. I love seeing your face in the comments as well. Now, this says, hi Pen, I would like to know when applying skincare, what goes first? Vitamin C, she uses Maylove, or growth factors, she uses TNS recovery serum. Also, what is the advice about moisturizer? I just heard that moisturizer and oils will cause your cells to be lazy and not renew like they are supposed to. One more question is alcohol in foundations. Why is it there and does it evaporate once it hits the air? Oh, I have one more question, she says. I have hair growth like sideburns due to menopause. I'm guessing, she's guessing. Is there anything that can be done besides shaving? Then she says some really nice things, and I appreciate that very much, and I appreciate your questions. So let's start from the beginning. First of all, when you are trying to figure out how to apply your products, there's a couple rules of thumb that will help all of you because obviously it's difficult for me to be super specific since all of you are using different things. Rules of thumb. Number one, thinnest to thickest. You want to look at the things that are the most watery, like essences and toners. Those are the things you use first. And you go all the way to your occlusive moisturizers, your heavy creams. Those would go last. There are a few caveats in there. One of them is oils. Oils are thin, but we want to use them towards the end of a routine, usually right prior to a heavy cream. And that is because oils tend to be occlusive and they can block other things from getting through. So I tend to like to advise people to use oils. If you're not using them all by themselves, then you want to use them towards the end of your thinner products. So essences and serums go on first, and then your oils, and then your heavy creams. Now, the other thing that I like to kind of consider in that rule of thumb is, what am I trying to achieve? What is most important to me? So if brightening is the most important thing to you, then I would use your May Love first. If growth factors and collagen stimulation is more important to you, then I would use your TNS first. So when things are of the same consistency, then I just have to decide what issue those things are addressing, which one is more important to me. Whatever's most important to me, that's the thing that I put on first. That's the thing that I want in my skin very first, with the least amount of obstacles in its way. I hope that that makes sense. The other rule of thumb that is important is the clearest to the most opaque. It's just another way to think about it. So the things that you can literally see right through to the things that you cannot see through, that's another way that you can kind of arrange your skincare. Because all of us, or a lot of us, are using lots and lots of things, and so it gets very confusing when to use what. So a couple rules of thumb will help you to kind of divvy up your skincare. I hope that that helps. Now, next in your questions was you asked about hearing that moisturizers and oils will cause your cells to be lazy. I actually have recently seen some people talking about oils and how you shouldn't use them. I am completely of the opposite opinion, and I do not believe that moisturizer is bad for your skin. I do not believe that your cells are going to become lazy. I don't think that that makes biological sense, but I do know that there are people who are reputable that are saying that about oils. That is not my personal experience whatsoever. That is not the experience of a lot of people that I know, and so I don't believe that. But that is not to say that I have done extensive research on lazy cells and oils. So I'm just giving you my opinion, and my opinion is oils and absolutely moisturizer is just fine for your skin and is definitely not going to do your skin any harm as long as it is appropriate for your skin type. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about lazy cells. I've heard that recently too. That's just interesting. Another question is the alcohol in foundations. She wants to know if it dissipates right away. I don't think so. And I do know that brands, for example, the new Pat McGrath actually said that alcohol that is fourth on the list in that new Sublime foundation, which I happen to love, she says that is there to help with dry down. Well, sure, it's going to help with dry down. It's a dehydrator. It's going to, help things just dry down. Yeah, I still don't think that denatured alcohol is fantastic in your foundation. I just do not, especially if you are normal to dry and you have dehydrated skin like me. Like, I'm not wearing it today. I will not wear it every single day. I'm afraid that it will exacerbate my dehydrated and dry skin. So, you need to make the call yourself on some of these skincare ingredients. And, sometimes we can decide this or that will be okay occasionally, but I don't think the alcohol in our foundation is a good thing on a very regular basis. I just don't. And I do not think that it immediately evaporates in the air and doesn't affect your skin in any way. I definitely think it will affect your skin, especially over time. Okay. She says that she has hair growth like sideburns due to menopause, she thinks. And is there anything that she can do besides shaving? What I would ask you is the color of the hair, the color of your skin, and if the hair is dark and not gray, and if your skin is not dark, you can consider getting hair removal. The deal with hair removal is that the light needs to see the pigment in the hair, and it needs to differentiate that hair color from the color of your skin. So if you have darker hair on lighter skin, you are a great candidate typically for laser hair removal. So you definitely have that option. And if the hair is gray and if your skin is dark, then I would definitely consider waxing and dermaplaning. So yeah, you do have some options. It just kind of depends on your individual situation with your hair and skin. Okay, so this one is from Marie Doherty, and she says, I appreciate the info. This is so helpful. Can you please help with recommendations, whether supplements or otherwise, for dehydrated skin? Thank you so much. Okay, so I have made lots and lots of videos and recommendations about dehydrated skin, but I will do a dedicated video, Marie, on dehydrated skin because I have dehydrated skin. And I can tell you one thing, and this is going to be one of those silly answers that a lot of you are going to roll your eyes, I'm sure, but honestly, drinking water makes the biggest difference. It's incredible. When I actually really focus on getting in enough water, it's amazing the change in my skin. I can really tell it in my lips because I get very dry lips, that when I really focus on internal hydration, how much better my lips are. So because my skin on my face and my arms, it doesn't show the dehydration as obviously as my lips, but just as an indicator from my lips, I know that everywhere I am dehydrated. So I really recommend something you can do at home that you can do for free is give yourself a test. Try 1 week where you really try to ingest, the amount of water that you should. And that's a lot more than any of us are actually drinking. You can use water infusion. That's something that I've done recently. I got these, they're like dried fruit. They're overpriced dried fruit that I will put in my water just because it makes my water taste a little bit better, and I tend to drink a lot more of it. Crazy difference. And a quick personal story, you guys. Last year, my mom had breast cancer, and we went through the whole radiation and everything, which really dehydrates your insides. And she had to have another surgery, and she was so incredibly dehydrated, you guys, coming out of that surgery, that her blood pressure dropped, and there was all these complications. But beyond that, she's fine now. She's totally fine. They had to rehydrate her with 7 bags of saline in a 24-hour period. She was that dehydrated. But now that she's fine, I can tell you that the lady that was laying in that hospital bed that looked like she was 30 years older, then 24 hours later, after they rehydrated her with all that water, those bags of water, it was the ultimate lesson, setting aside the craziness of what was going on for her health-wise. It was the biggest lesson to me about internal hydration. When we left the hospital the next day or 2 days later, my mom looked 30 years younger. I am not exaggerating, you guys, because she was so hydrated. Plump cheeks, pink in her skin. I mean, she just looked amazing. And when she was super dehydrated laying in that hospital bed, you guys, not exaggerating, she looked so much older. So I can't emphasize enough how important internal hydration is for our skin. And I have been trying since that time to really hydrate on an internal level. And like I said, it's free. It is totally free, and it is going to do our skin so much good and help us out on the inside so much better, in my opinion, than all these serums and lotions and potions and all of that stuff. If we can get the inside hydrated, our skin is our biggest organ. I know this sounds like preachy, but man, just try it. I challenge you guys to try that for 1 week and see how different your skin is if you dedicate yourself to internal hydration. So that's my shtick on hydration, but I will do a whole video on dehydration and what we can do, dehydrated skin, what we can do externally, and not just about drinking water, what we can do to help with dehydrated skin beyond hydrating our insides. I will do a video on that for sure. Okay, so Michelle Bernstein, I hope it's Bernstein and not Bernstein. I always in my mind say Bernstein. Michelle has become, hi Michelle, she has become a good friend of mine. This YouTube world is so crazy, you guys. I met her via YouTube and she's a subscriber and she's become a legit good friend of mine. So hi Michelle, thanks for your question / comment. But Michelle says, some nice things. And then she did ask me what I used to tone my hair, because in last Friday's Q&A, I let you know that I toned my hair. You guys, all I used was Pravana shampoo. And I'll see if I can find where you can buy that, but it's everywhere. Pravana is everywhere. And it is one of the most toning purple shampoos I have ever used. And I've used a lot. I was a hairstylist for years and years and years. And yeah, it was pretty amazing. Now, I will say that I did put it on towel dried hair and I left it in for like 5-6 minutes before I rinsed it out. And so it kind of got more of a concentration. And of course, it does wash out, you know, the next time or two that you wash it, the toning goes away. But it is packed full with purple / blue pigment, and it's a really good toner. So that's what I used to tone my hair last week. Okay, she said, I would love to see a video that shows exactly what to buy to do the 3 types of microneedling at home, including needle sizes, serums for each type. Okay, so if you guys are interested in that video, I have so many microneedling videos now, but if you would like a concise video that is, you know, puts all the modalities together, that talks about cosmetic needling, nano needling, and medical needling in one video, and really breaks down exactly what you need for all 3 if you are somebody that wants to do all 3, I'm happy to do that video if that's of interest to you. If you would rather keep them all broken up, I'm happy to do that too. So let me know if you guys want a concentrated video that covers all 3. It probably would be a longer video, so I just need to know the interest in that, and if there is interest, I'm happy to do that. I'm completely happy to do that. This one is from Paula Togashi. I hope I pronounced that right, Paula. She says, please, I need a video about how to take care of my hands, especially microneedling. I'm 36 and my hands are so dry. P.S. I used to use gloves to block me from the sun. I'm getting all my notifications for YouTube, so I'm like having to swipe them out of the way. Is it okay? So Paula, first of all, gloves, yes, of course, that's totally okay. I mean, I love wearing thumb-holed shirts when I'm driving because it covers my hands. I also like to wear those sleeves. I think I have some right here. Let me show you guys. These sleeves, I have these sleeves. I've gotten so many of these for my mom, but these are thumb hole sleeves. They're like this. I will wear these when I go bike riding with my husband. They're really comfortable. They are not hot. I don't find them to be hot. I might wear white when we go bike riding on a hot day, but these are also, they're super cute under like short sleeve shirts, but they cover your hands like this. So UV sleeves are another really good thing that you can do. Always, always, always wearing sunscreen in the car. I think that we forget how much our hands are exposed to the sun. And always, if you are somebody who goes and gets nails, I get shellac. So once a week or once every 2 weeks, my hands are in that UV light. I will stop and I will put on, because your hands are in water and they have you wash, they have you do all this stuff. I will put on the tops of my hands some sunscreen every single time before I stick them in those UV lights, because that concentrated light, it's basically 100% UVA, the aging rays. So yeah, we definitely want to be protecting our hands if you get your nails done. Huge, huge, because just think about that repeated exposure to that light. So, and then when we're on our steering wheel, so sunscreen is probably the biggest thing that I can recommend to you for your hands. But I've gotten so many questions about microneedling that I did a quick little demo. I'm going to roll the demo really quickly and just show you. I did it on one single hand, and I'm going to talk you through it really quickly so that you guys get an idea about microneedling your hands. It's very, very similar to microneedling the forehead. It is very bony, and so usually I would say 0.5 or 0.75 is the deepest that you need to go on your hands. And I like to do 3 passes. What I think is important to note is that you obviously want to make sure that your hands are super clean. You can use a numbing cream. 5% lidocaine will work because the hands don't, to me, they aren't as crazy sensitive as like your forehead or under your eyes or above your lips. So you can numb with a 5% lidocaine that you can get over the counter. And then you want to make sure that you thoroughly wash the lidocaine off. That goes for your face, that goes for your neck, anywhere that you numb, you want to make sure you thoroughly remove the numbing cream. Then you're going to swab the area with alcohol. That's important for safety, sanitation. That's important so that there is nothing on the surface of your skin that you're going to drive in with the microneedles. Again, we're going to set it at 0.5, 0.75, and then I'm just going to use hyaluronic acid. I like the hyaluronic acid from Cause de Baja because it's just high molecular weight hyaluronic acid that doesn't have any fillers in it, doesn't have any preservatives in it, and it's got a nice slip and it's inexpensive. It's a perfect HA for microneedling. Gonna do 3 passes, and yeah, that's it. I'm gonna look for some erythema. The other thing is I like to hold on to something so that the skin is taut, especially if you have wrinkling on your hands. You want to bend your hands so that the skin is taut. And then you just go vertically, horizontally, and then I like to go diagonally through, and that's it. I'm looking for some even erythema. You do not need to get a bunch of bleeding. You might get a tiny bit of pinpoint bleeding. You don't need to hamburger up your hands in any way. Then I like to keep the fingers taut, and I will do between the first and second knuckle. I usually don't do the knuckles, and I don't do between the second and third knuckle. I just don't. And I don't even always do the fingers, but some of you have mentioned that your fingers are a problem area for you, so you can definitely needle there as well. You want to remove your rings, and if you can, you want to leave your rings off until the next day. Rings are definitely the harborers of bacteria, and I would just leave them off till the next day if you can. If you can't, soak your ring in Effordent before you put it back on your hand that you've microneedled, just to be safe, and soak it for 30 minutes, rinse it with the warmest water you can, and then put it on your finger, back on your finger. So that is the general protocol for microneedling your hands, guys. It's pretty simple. And then the next day, I'm just gonna use some Kiwi Seed oil. This is a good one that is not expensive. And basically, you guys, this is just 100% pure, natural, virgin, unrefined kiwi seed oil. Super, super inexpensive and super nourishing to that skin that's going to probably end up being a little bit dry, a little bit tight, a little bit flaky, that kind of thing on your hand. And then just make sure that you wear sunscreen the next day. Just be careful what you touch, what you put your hands in, that kind of thing while you have those open channels. So I hope that that helps. If you guys want an entire dedicated video to microneedling the hands, I'm happy to do it. It's just not that involved of a protocol. I mean, any more so than the face. It's same skin. Same skin. I get this question a lot. I can't remember if I answered it last week or not, so forgive me if I did. But when can I nano needle after microneedling? So typically, you guys, if you do a medical needling, if you go 0.5 or deeper, I tell people to wait at least 3 to 5 days before you nano. I mean, your skin is going through this whole process of resurfacing and that kind of stuff. I just like to let it do its thing from the medical needling. And so a lot of times what I like to do is I like to do all of this on a weekly basis. I like to do my medical needling. Let's say I do it on Fridays. I'll do a medical needling on a Friday. I personally, all the way the next Friday is when I might do a cosmetic needling or a nano needling. And then I go in the middle of the weeks. I will do the following Wednesday, I do a nano, and then on Friday I do my cosmetic. And then, so I split it up that way. That's how I get nano and cosmetic in every week, is I just split them up. And then 4 weeks on the Friday is when I will do the medical needling again. And I just break it apart between with the nano and the cosmetic. I definitely am going to do a needling calendar for you guys and put that up. I'm gonna try and do a dedicated video where maybe I have graphics with, you know, like a needling schedule, and hopefully that will be helpful because I know that it gets very confusing, like the timing of all of it. But let me know in the comments if that would be helpful for you guys, if this is still confusing to you, because I try to lay it out as simply and concisely as I can, but I know it's kind of confusing. I know it all gets very confusing. So hopefully that answered that question. Okay, so the last thing that I wanted to tell you guys is that exactly when this video is going up, the Smiths are getting another fur ball. So literally I am meeting the person. We're adopting a kitten, free. She's a free little kitten. We're adopting her, and we are meeting this person in the middle between where we live and where they live. They live 4 hours away. They're from my hometown. And we are meeting her at 3 o'clock today. This is Friday. I'm actually doing this Q&A on Friday morning. And so I'm super excited. So when you guys see this, when this goes up, head over to Instagram after you watch this video, you guys, because I will put some pictures of the new little kitty on Instagram. I'm so excited. My kids are over the moon. They are so stinking excited. So as you're watching this, I am going to be playing with a new kitten. So excited. I'm so excited. And if you're not following me on Instagram, definitely do. It's PENN.SMITH.SKINCARE. And yeah, I post a lot of stuff over there as well. And if you guys haven't already, tap the bell if you would. I look at my analytics and a lot of my subscribers haven't tapped the bell. I don't know if that's because you don't know to or if you don't want to. If you don't want to, I understand. But if you didn't realize, tap that bell, because otherwise YouTube isn't always going to even let you know when I put videos up. So I hope you guys are having a fantastic week. I thank you for all of these questions. I couldn't do these videos if you don't ask me some questions. So definitely leave me questions in the comment section for next week's Friday Q&A, and I will get to as many of them as I possibly can. I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and I will talk to you again very soon.